Hello and welcome back to one of our mini training sessions on Workbooks CRM, as we call it, Workbooks Wednesday. And in this session, we're going to cover how a CRM system like Workbooks can help you build your email list, your database of email addresses. Email marketing remains one of the most effective ways, I think, to help you nurture your sales inquiries, your leads, promote your products and services, drive your sales, promoting the business. However, building a quality email list of clients, contacts who actually want to receive your communications, your messages, is going to be challenging without the right tools and strategy. And this is where a CRM system like Workbooks can really help your organization. So in this session, we're going to take a deeper dive into how Workbooks can help you capture and build on your database of email addresses. So it's specifically in relation to using a CRM system. So thanks for joining us. If those of you on here live, my name is Tim Wilmot, joined by my colleagues Stuart, Lawrence and Hein. I'll pass on to them very shortly. And our company, Wizard Sisters, we're a leading independent CRM solutions provider of systems like Workbooks. And we help out organizations use simple and affordable solutions to improve their sales, marketing, and customer service productivity. So thanks very much for joining both of us on our little mini training session, our regular series of short Workbooks presentations, normally every week, focusing on different topics in and around Workbooks. And as I say, in this one, we're going to cover getting those all important, collecting those all important email addresses and some tips for you. Now, the audio part of this call is one way only. If you've got any question around what we're chatting about, pop that into the questions section on your meeting control panel. Do my best to answer that at the end. And also this recording will be made available to you and we'll pop it up on our YouTube channel as well. Okay, let me pass over to my colleague Stuart and we'll go through some tips on how to use Workbooks to help you build your email address database.
I've got Alan's record open. And as I mentioned, the email address is not where we want it. We want it near Alan's details so that we can see it and its prominence, and it makes it a lot more usable and easier to understand. So how do we change it? Like a lot of things, it's in configuration. Now, hopefully everybody can see me opening it this time. So I'll go into the customization and the record types, and we're looking at people. The icon in the top left gives us a clue. So I'll open the people record, and it's a form layout, as mentioned. We looked at layouts a little while ago, but I'm not going to go too deep into those. And it's the default layout we're playing with. And this will load, and it will load up all the fields that we can play with. So I'm just going to go into the fields section, and I'll go and find the email address. And you can see that they place it at the bottom here in this section called main contact section, and it actually comes in after facts. So in here they see it as lower than facts, and I don't think that's right. So what we can do is we can click on the email itself, and I can see where they think it goes. Main contact details after facts. So the first thing we can do is put it into the main form section in column 1, in other words, top left, that box that was top left on Alan's record. And now I want it to appear. I think for this, I'm going to put it after his name. So let's go find person name, save and close. As with lots of things in Workbooks, it's save and close on the way out to make sure we're saving everything. I don't need that anymore. If I close Alan's record, then obviously use this brilliant recent items option to open Alan's record again, I've now got the email address where it makes a lot more sense, right under his name. Mr. Alan Whitehead, email, and his job title. So it's a lot easier. So that takes us to the first way. The second thing to do is we've now got the email address where we want it. how do we add emails to our system? How do we add email addresses to our system? And one of the easiest things that Workbooks gives us is a contact form. And they actually build it for us. And it's just a case of placing this on your website and then using that submit button to capture this information as people visit. And again, it's not as daunting as people think. To begin with, we just have to create the form. So again, back into configuration. We use a web integration, and there are two that they give you. They give you a web to case and a web to lead. Web to case allows you to build a form that you place on your website that your customers can use to log support cases. We'll save that one for another day. Here we're going to use web to lead. And all you do is you click the new sales button. And this is where it gets clever. A queue to assign this form to is when someone visits the website and presses the button to submit their information. Who gets this record? Now, in years of old, what would have happened would have been someone would have visited your website, and then it'll just be an email that you'll just get to say that someone visited the website. Here, we can drop it straight into Workbooks and tell people or a group of people. So for this, I'm going to say it's into the new queue. I don't think this matters who I am, but I'm going to, as I'm in as Tony, I'm going to say Tony created it. And now I have my form ready to use. Now the form in itself, how do you put it politely? It's not pretty because it's just plain HTML and it's got every field that you'll find on a lead record. And no one is going to spend time filling that in if you place it on your website. So what you can do is very quickly, you can clean it up, a bit of HTML and a bit of CSS, so that what you end up with is something that looks like that. And that can be placed on your website, or your web editor or your web designer can place the fields on their website plus the bit of code. Now, when someone fills in this information, and notice I've gone with person name required and email address required, it will send that information into Workbooks and notify the people who are members of this queue that this record has been recorded in the system. And you could go one step further by using a process, again linked to that queue, that sends the person that sends this submit form in a nice email saying, thank you for visiting our website. Someone will be in touch soon, or with the relative information. Okay, we can go one step further. One other thing that we would suggest, if I just close those down, is what about the records that don't have email addresses? How do you find those? This is a lot easier than people think. And ideally, of course, in an ideal world, you wouldn't have any. Now, if I go across here to all people, we have the email address column. And this is nothing more than click on email, add a filter, and change starts with to is blank. Now when I click apply, I've got 17 records, and in some cases, for instance, this Ben, not even a telephone number. So it gives us very little, there's very little options when it comes to contacting them. So apologies for all my gremlins, but that's it. Just a few simple steps to help you get the email address out front and collect the emails and look after them. I hope that's it. And with that, I'll hand it back to Tim.
Yeah, thanks very much, Stuart. So as we can see, getting placement of that email address field on the people form can be quite important and a good incentive to make sure that it's top of mind for your users. And then next, investigate using the web to lead feature. We have actually done 101 sessions on that feature before, but use that web capture, that form capture feature, routing the email, making sure that the information creates a lead record, but we're trapping the email address. So use that web to lead feature. And then using reports and dashboards to identify the blanks in your system. And maybe that can be a little campaign for a user to go through, provided the contacts have got a phone number, of course, but using that as like a little mini campaign to make sure that your you're collecting those email addresses. So other areas where a CRM system can help you with email marketing, of course, we've got lots of segmentation options, maybe a lot more than you've got in a mailing platform. If you think about all of the information that's linked, that's within a person's record or linked to a person's record, the company they work for, the interactions we've had with them, the products we've sold to them, that's all up for grabs to help us segment and create targeted email campaigns. Don't forget also the lead scoring feature of Workbooks to help us identify those top leads in our system. And again, we've covered that on a previous 101 session to build up like a little algorithm behind the scenes to help you score those top quality leads. Do a review in your organization, do a review of other applications you or your customer facing people are using for storing email addresses, and consider a simple export, import back into Workbooks, or maybe even an integration. Workbooks has some really easy ways of integrating to other applications. Make sure that this is the central repository of all of your email addresses. Watch out for hard bounces as well when you're mailing people. Could, of course, be an indication of contact change, someone leaving the company being acquired, some misspellings, some bad syntax in their email address. So watch out for those hard bounces as well. And finally, last of all, a brilliant add-on to Workbooks called Web Insights. I know some of you Workbooks users might be using this add-on, but for those of you that may not be familiar with it, this is a way of tracking website visitors into your Workbook system. So tracking anonymous visitors, we can get a lot of information about who they are and get those leads into your Workbook system together with their email address, of course. So thanks very much, Stuart. Let me just take it back to me. And just before we go into any questions you may have around using CRM to help build your email list, just a brief mention about Wizard Systems. We're a long-standing provider of different CRM solutions, including Workbooks. And as regards Workbooks, we provide a lot of expertise as regards implementing the solution, providing any kind of training as well, your place, our place, or online, and also help desk support. Right, so if you have any questions, pop that into the questions section on your meeting control panel. I'll do my best to, or we'll do our best to answer those. The first question is, does Workbooks allow you to enter duplicate email addresses?
Yes. Yeah, it used to be some CRMs made it sort of a unique field, but now it could be that someone has, especially with email addresses such as Hotmail and Outlook and Gmail, they may be associated with more than one company. There could be a consultant that deals with more than one company, but they're linked to two different records. So yes, they do.
Yeah, there could be like a sales at address, info at address. So yeah, you're going to typically find that. So yes, so Workbooks does allow that. Next question from, I think it's Carl. We use MailChimp. How do we get the email addresses into Workbooks? Well, that's going to be.
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah. Well, Workbooks has got MailChimp's got a brilliant export feature, which will export the columns from your the audience. I think Workbooks MailChimp now call it. So it'll export those columns into a CSV, and that CSV can be very simply imported into Workbooks as either contacts or leads, depending how you want to import them.
Yeah, there's probably some sort of subscribed status field in MailChimp rather than someone that's subsequently unsubscribed. You probably wouldn't want to import those. You want to import those that have subscribed and are open to communication. So yeah, simple case of exporting and importing. And then Andrea, again, how can you define email preferences in workbooks? So I guess that's, people that are, what type of mailings from you would they like?
Yeah, well, it didn't show that on our test system, but you could easily add below the email address itself. You could have some tick boxes, or maybe a really clever and simple multi-select pick list with your various options. Newsletter, Christmas card, and then when you do your mailings, you could pick not only the particular criteria, but where this mail criteria equals newsletter, a particular bit of software that you sell. So yeah, I think multi-line pick list might be the cleanest.
Yeah, okay. So a few options there. Thanks very much, Andrew. So we'll just wrap this up then. Current release of Workbook 7.2, which of course you're on. We are regularly running our one-day mastering workbooks training courses. Please contact us for details on that. Normally fairly small class sizes. I think the last one we did was we had a couple of people on it the other week. So please contact us if you want more information on that one-day really advanced course on workbooks. And if you've got any topics for future suggestions of our Workbooks Wednesday, Workbooks 101 sessions, please contact any of us with assistance. We'd be happy to look at that and include it in future sessions. So thanks very much, those of you on here live, and we'll catch up with you on the next session. Thank you. Bye-bye.